the hometown of Babe Didrikson Zaharias, greatest woman athlete that ever lived. In golf alone, 82 tournament victories. And of course, she knew Andy Verapapa and vice versa. And like you said, your dad, and of course, another of our heroes, Byron Nelson, up in Roanoke, Texas. He knew Babe well, played often with her, and admired her. So here now at somebody that's trying to make a big name for himself, Phil Ringener, of Big Spring, Texas. Leaving a 4-pin.
Ringener, the only player of this quartet that doesn't really have a power shot. He's a down and in player, uses speed control and angle control to control the pocket. It's been a very effective all week long. His partner, Steve Hoskins, had a chance to set an all-time 8-game record yesterday. He was averaging more than 270 for his first 7 games. We'll see him next.
Phil is 32 years old from Big Spring. This year, he was 7th at the Leisure Long Island Open.
Now D'Entremont, who had 3 strikes out of 6 frames in their victory over Cook and Albee, up on the right-hand lane. First frame.
And right off, a 310 on the right lane.
The first split of the day for any of the players, as you see D'Entremont with a little flip over the foul line. Watch him flip this ball on the upswing. See him flipping out over the line, hooks it too much, has the 3-6 baby split, needs to get the ball between the 3-pin, drive it into the 10.
Just went by the 3.
Statistician Butch Soper tells us this is the first open frame we've had all day long, as it's been a strike-a-thon. You see D'Entremont just missing the 3-pin, knocks out the 10, has opened the door for the opponents. Now let's see if his partner Thayer can pick him up on the left-hand lane.
Leaving a 7-pin on the left.
There's a case there that the pin action was just too good, and after they had lost to Hoskins and Ringener in the match play, there's really no psychological carryover because the players almost forget about it. Remember, both these players bowled 42 games, 84 altogether.
All right, now we look at 5'5" Steve Hoskins of Tarpon Spring, Florida. 22 years old, decided that he'll go back to college and study medicine, Bo.
Might be a great idea. Right now his bowling ball is doing his talking right now. He's got a PhD in bowling going for him. The 10, as I came in yesterday morning, Chris, 289, 279, 268, 279. As you see the pin action of Hoskins just cuts right through. He saws that 6-pin off, doesn't quite take off the 10. And going into the last and 8th game yesterday afternoon, he needed a 280 to break Billy Hardwick's all-time record.
He knew at the line that he blew that one.
And ironically, a couple of things. The 10-pin was he missed in the 7th game of that series is one of the reasons that he didn't break the record. And secondly, the approaches can give you a little bit of trouble on the synthetic lanes. You see him sliding sideways at the approach, has opened the door for his opponents.
Horrible strike by Phil Ringener.
Neither one of these players has ever won a PBA championship, and so I think just even being in the semifinal, I think they're looking a little bit ahead. If I can win this game, I got a chance at the title. That's not the way you win championships. They happen one frame at a time. Bear down, work on your game. Now, D'Entremont, 3rd frame.
Remember in their last victory over Albee and Cook, 246-206. Much of that success to this Hoosier, Mark Thayer. Back in Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis, Kevin Cogan coming along after surgery on his right leg and right arm. We mentioned him because we admire him and he is a friend, but his father owns a bowling establishment, Gable House, where we do our first telecast each year. AC Delco.
And Kevin has been in the PBA Bowling Center, has had an interview with you over the years on ABC, but we see Mark Thayer right here struggling a little bit in the 4th frame. When High leaves the 6-pin, his team leads by 1 pin, which is kind of unusual because both teams are struggling at a 188 pace.
So next year, Kevin Cogan at the Indy 500, I'm sure will do a lot better. Pleasure Island, Harbor Pier, one of the scenic sites here in Beaumont. Of course, ABC's Wide World of Sports follows us. Advil Mini Marathon from New York City. That's one part of the show. Then the broadcast premiere of Tyson Ruddick, heavyweight fight with interviews, both fighters. Here's a stocky fellow, Steve Hoskins. After an open frame, he gets that strike, Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Our tournament leaders, Del Ballard, Bob Benoit, proven champions. They will bowl somebody who's never been to the winner's circle. Del, you have any surprises for these fellows when you bowl them in the championship game?
No, not really. I'm just going to try to go out and be aggressive like I have all week and try to make the best shot that I possibly can. I don't think it's going to matter that we're bowling non-champions. The lanes offered high scores all week. I think they will today, too.
How about you, Bob? Any prediction of a final score necessary to win?
Well, I'm going to say it's going to take probably 240 or 250 to win, but when we shoot 300 at him, I think that should win.
Here's a man who's already shot 300 in the championship round, Chris. The last man to do it. He predicts one in the championship game. Coming up next. Back to you.
And D'Entremont trying to bring his team back. They're down 19. Now that's their second strike. And this is their second match of the afternoon. And Mark Thayer, his partner, is quickly up. Fast-moving action here in the PBA Doubles Classic in Beaumont. Now he can cut that Ringener Hoskins lead to 9 with a strike right here.
Big shot for Thayer. He has failed to strike so far in this game.
Both wives, Sylvia and Kathy. Sylvia D'Entremont and Kathy Thayer.
Watch the action of the head pin, the power ball of Thayer. It goes to the left sideboard. You'll see the 10-pin standing. Here comes the head pin, rolling across. Just enough impetus. Take out the 10, keep that team in the match. Now Hoskins up in the 7th.
Well, he doesn't back off. Now they have a 4 in a row. Hoskins and Ringener.
Well, this team was steady all week long. Hoskins had the real hot hand yesterday, averaging more than 250 for the whole day. Ringener, a good, solid partner, bowls well on any lane condition. Right now, they have a 19-pin lead, can make it 29, 7th frame.
Split is gone, but the 3-6-10 to the 32-year-old bowler from Big Spring, Texas, had some great finishes. Nelson second, the Brunswick World Open. Second, Rochester. 5th in the Bud Tournament Players. It's really been close.
He's been kind of unlucky. His opponents in his championship rounds, as you see the 3-6-10, have averaged more than 228 at him. So things got to turn around for Phil Ringener. Big trouble there. An open frame at this point takes the Ringener lead, which could have been more than 30-some pins. Watch the 3-pin go straight back, hit off the kickback, take out the 10, but not the 6. They could have had a 30-pin lead. Now it's down to just 4 pins.
All right, we're in our 3rd game or semifinal game of our ABC Sports format here of the Professional Bowlers Tour telecast. We'll have more following this.
Bowling's greatest legends roll into Las Vegas looking to strike it rich. It's the Showboat Senior Invitational on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour next Saturday.
That's right, next Saturday, Las Vegas Showboat Senior Invitational. Don't miss it. Same time, same station.
Now, D'Entremont, with 2 strikes working, can take the lead in the 7th if he can strike. All sorts of trouble, huh, Chris? The 3, 6, 9, 10. You see the basic mistakes that non-winners make under pressure. They continue to pull the ball. He needs to get the ball in this area, take out the 3-6, let the ball carry back into the 9-10. A very difficult spare. We saw Ringener miss a combination similar to this in his 7th frame.
Beautifully done. Parma, Ohio's gift to the Professional Bowlers Tour, David D'Entremont, 29 years old.
A way to correct pulling the ball under pressure is to get a little more extension, a little more follow through. That keeps you from hitting the ball and lifting it too soon, a little bit anxious. Give it that necessary room, because if you get it wide, it'll strike. Mark there, 8th frame.
Leaving us 6-10. It's amazing. These partners both finished second at Pinole in California. Mark, not quite as dramatic as David.
No, you're right. David D'Entremont, who led the tournament, lost to Schlegel. And Mark Thayer also led the tournament and struggled somewhat as D'Entremont looks to the scoreboard saying we're in trouble, but the match is still within 10 pins. Make that 21 pins. It's amazing. As many strikes as they threw all week long, Chris, still it's coming down to spares.
So now Steve Hoskins. Youngest in our field today at 22 years of age.
The parents of Mr. Hoskins there, they're very proud of their son. They came in from Florida. Steve's mom and dad rooting for his son. They can now take a 31-pin lead if his partner Ringener can strike in the 9th.
Holding his head, leaving the 2-5. He was lucky.
You're right, Chris. It could have had worse. As Jill Ringener, who has worked for the PBA part-time and rooting her husband on to a potential final round, championship round, if they can win this game, needs to make the 2-5 spare to keep the commanding lead. The D'Entremont Thayer group, they have a possible 202. Their opponents, Ringener, Hoskins, going at 203. It will come down to the 10th frame. Let's see what happens.
Remember, we have 4 players in this match yet to win a PBA title.
Right now, Mark Thayer up for the biggest shot of his PBA career. He needs to throw a couple of strikes to put this match within reach. 10th frame.
We've seen him do that before. Any chance of a tie, Bo?
No problem. If he can throw another 2 strikes and then Ringener, Hoskins get 19 in the 10th frame, it'll be a 202 tie. Thayer has saved his best for the 10th frame, but he needs 1 more to get it right down to a 1-pin margin. The other team discussing strategy says, hey, Pards, we need some strikes here if he strikes on this ball.
No. Yep. I didn't think it had a chance. Neither did he.
Chris, that was a combination of 2 mistakes finally working out well for Mark Thayer, who's been kind of unlucky in the championship round before. He's had some big scores shot against him. Pete Weber shot 289 to beat him out of the U.S. Open. Now he has a chance to go on to the final. A strike here would cut their opponent's lead to down 1 pin. Hoskins would be up in the 10th.
Mark Thayer, Lafayette, Indiana. Coming through at the end, he and his teammate David D'Entremont shooting a 202. Excitement
Steve Hoskins must strike on this ball and spare to win it outright. If he gets 9 spare strike, we have a tie. Anything less, he loses. Great shot there, Chris. He puts himself in a position where a strike or a spare wins the match. 9, an open frame 9 would be a tie. An open frame 8 would be a loser. Admittedly, this young man is nervous under pressure, but he sure performed last night when he needed it. He threw 2 strikes in the 10th frame to get his team to second. Now he can give him a chance to bowl for the title.
Oh, that former Rookie of the Year, 1989, Steve Hoskins. Okay, Hoskins and Ringener. Here is Hoskins now shooting from leftist.